right. Good morning. Good morning. This is Magic Collins. I'm your host, aka Magic Man. This is Fight the Funk podcast, exploring mental health, culture, and the world around us. And I am a mental health advocate and civil rights advocate. And today we have Marques Ogden. He's a former NFL athlete and writer of the book Sleepless Nights, an autobiography. And happy to have him. And Marques, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, sir? What's going on, Magic?
Good. I'm happy to have you, man. What now? I came across your work, and one of the quotes I liked the most was "I begin speaking to help others succeed where I've failed." And for me, it's like I think I always wonder like where were you when you came up with that quote? Like where were you in your life? Can you remember what you were doing? Because it's kind of dope. Like with if you're in the like the stand-up world or something, like you can be doing anything and something will hit you, a phrase will hit you. Is there a place you were when you came up with that?
Yeah, I remember that. I was actually sitting at my table in my office in my place we were renting at the time. And I said, well, what about my story is going to stand out where people actually want to hear me and what I have to say? And I
Uh-huh.
realized that helping people succeed where I fail, because what I had gone through being an NFL athlete, being a business owner who was literally, I was telling this to a friend of mine last night who's actually from Baltimore. I used to work for him in that area of in construction. I said, I should have never got into construction.
Mhm.
Never, ever, ever.
Mhm.
But because I wanted to chase money, because I wanted to go after fame, what I call the external motivating factors, I
Mhm.
got into construction, had a lot of luck, made a lot of money, but eventually, like anything else that happens in life, if you're not prepared or you don't respect it or you get mesmerized by early success, it
Mhm.
can all end. And
Mhm.
my dream became a nightmare. And I guess that would be April 2013 when I moved to Raleigh, and I had $400 to my name after losing everything in my business. So I
Mhm.
can really attest to what that's like.
Mhm.
And I've been there, but I said that at my table as I was trying to figure out, why would anybody want to work with me as a speaker? And as I was trying to start my journey.
Mhm. Mhm. How did you break ground like as a speaker?
I tell everybody thinks like, oh, you play football. It must have been 2.5 years, Magic, not
Mhm.
one paid job. But what
Yeah.
I did do is I leaned on my inner circle and I
Mhm.
ended up getting my first non-paid corporate job for a Fortune 500 company, NetApp, because the gentleman who was the head of healthcare for the entire state of North Carolina, I
Mhm.
trained both his sons in football. And as a
Okay.
result of that, I was able to get in with NetApp and I got a testimonial letter from them. And
Mhm.
then NetApp became New York Life, then it became MetLife, and it became Home Depot, and et cetera, et cetera. So in the
Okay.
last 5 years, I've worked for 19 Fortune 500 companies as a speaker, 19 in the last 5 years.
Okay. And then so with that, like has your work changed since last year, since everything has kind of transpired and continue to transpire? Like I know yesterday was the anniversary of Ahmaud Arbery's death, and shouts and love out to his family. And for me, it's just changed to my core of what my practices are and what I'm about and what I try to incorporate on a daily. What how has like Ahmaud Arbery's death and the death of so many unnecessarily in the society, like how has that changed and informed your work?
It's made me much more alert and aware of how we have to do better as a society as a whole. It's made me aware that we need to put in better processes, better systems in our justice system. We have to be much more cognizant of how we treat people, how we interact with people. And it's really woken me up. I mean, when I was a young person growing up, I'm from Washington, D.C., and I went to
Mhm.
Howard University. So to me, when I was at Howard, I was around all minorities, but not just people that were from the U.S., like Africa, the mainland, and Jamaica, and we had some people who were Caucasian as well, but we had people that were from like Asia coming in because Howard is such a main brand of historical Black college universities. Like Felicia Rashad went there, Anthony Anderson, Chadwick Boseman. I was in school with Chadwick Boseman, all these phenomenal people. So when I was growing up, man, and even when I got into college, into the NFL, like it seems like it wasn't that big of an issue. Like it seemed to be much more accepted. That as time went on, I would hope we get better. It seemed like we took a regression in our processes and we kind of went backwards, which was very scary and enlightening in a very negative way, unfortunately. So for me, it made me aware that we need to do better as a society. And there's got to be things that we can do to teach people how to treat people better. And everybody is human. And for goodness sakes, just treat people like you want to be treated yourself. I don't look at skin color. I don't look at anything from people other than how do you treat me? You treat me the same way with respect. I'll do the same to you. You don't respect me. You're not going to get back from me. That I don't care if you're white, black, Asian. It doesn't matter to me. So for me, I've never seen color. I've just seen, do you respect me? If you respect me, I will respect you.
Yeah. Now I would say to push back on that bit, like, but because I used to have these kind of conversations with my friends as far as don't see color, and that's to me like when you said that, that's my concern. Whereas like when we don't see color, we pay for that because of how things are set up. So it's like
here's the thing. That's how I will treat you the same, no matter what color you are. That's me.
Yeah.
But does society see color? Oh yeah, it does. I mean, it does. I mean, it does. I mean, without a doubt, it does. And it's I'm in the where you live at, Magic?
I'm in the Valley. I'm in California.
Okay, so I'm in the South. I'm in North Carolina. So I know I get seen differently. I mean, I don't even think about it. Like, I know it. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. So what I try to do is I just try to treat people of all colors, myself, with respect. But I already know in my mind that I'm in North Carolina, I'm in the South. I need to be very careful because in the South, it's not the same as California, or Michigan or New York. It's just not the same. So I very much agree with you. Like, no. People see color, unfortunately, and I wish they didn't, but they for sure do.
Yeah. And that's actually something I was aware of last year, where there's when you're in California or when you're on the East Coast, it's like there's a certain level of you can be it's not the same as the rural areas, It's like so you have Black Lives Matter in California. It's different when it's in like a small town and you're working like two jobs and you're the bus driver and you're the only Black person there. It's like that kind of weight and that kind of pressure is like that's different. That's a level of bravery that I don't think people in the city understand.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. Like, for example, my wife's a teacher in rural North Carolina. Like, it's about an hour from me, and it's extremely dilapidated. It's Title I school, and it's extremely broken down. And in those communities, I'm just seeing people there are treated differently and they're only in their own community for sure. But when it comes from people outside, it's just amazing to see now me because I've lived everywhere. I don't see it, but I can kind of drive around and see people looking at people. Maybe I want to go to that store, or I see people get out of the car. Oh, I'm just gonna go to the next station. I mean, it feels like sometimes, unfortunately, we have not progressed like I would like us to as a society.
Yeah. Oh, one of the things I did, I feel like the positive that came out last year is the connectedness. Like, because now I can see what's happening in Louisiana in real time. And see like and they can see what's happening here with our homeless or houseless situation. It's like we can see all of our situations at the same time. Part of that is learning how to navigate that because that's a lot of information on a daily basis. But I think that is a huge opportunity for us all, where it's like, I know your situation can be better. My situation. It's like we're so connected now, but we have to still do it in a healthy way. And that's kind of, to me, a big positive. Now, one thing I will say, transition as far as with you're with your background, because a lot of people when it's a black male, the common story is I'm from a single, like I'm from a single mother household. It's like, so your single parent was a father. So that's a different story. That's a different wrinkle. How was that as far as the growing up with a single father?
So growing up, imagine with a single dad, it was very different because our father
Mm,
went to Howard, played
mm,
football, was extremely successful early part of his life. But then my father got sick with kidney failure.
mm,
We literally went from a upper middle class family to dilapidated.
mm,
When my brother went to college, when I got to high school, we were broke. I mean, my dad lost everything. He
mm,
invested in his children. He had nothing for himself.
uh-huh,
And growing up with him as our mother and father figure, because our mom was in and out all the time to the point where we say, we can't deal with this. And we kind of just had him as that stable parent. It was great because he made us understand three big things: respect women, respect
mm,
yourself, and education over sports.
mm,
But we needed that because I'm 6'5.5", 6'6", 290, 300 pounds now. My brother is 6'9", 350, and when we were growing, we were big young men. We needed our father as that guiding factor force. We needed somebody who could keep us in line. My dad himself was 6'4", and big guy, keep us in line, but also give us that tough love, that being their support. He went to all of our high school football games. He went to
mm,
every one of my college football games with Howard. Went to almost all the ones I went to traveling, like Morgan State, Norfolk State, Dales. I mean, like he was just a great travel, supportive dad. And then I got drafted to the NFL. He came down and watched some games in Jacksonville. So that father figure magic was huge for us because we needed that in order to keep ourselves on the right path and not get off the path, being young Black males who were very big, who were very intimidating to people, not by just by our size. We need
mm.
somebody like that to show us how to be the men we are today.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how did you navigate? Because I know kind of how I came up is like I'm very aware of that intimidation factor, and that's kind of important. Like, but you also can't be overly, hey, I'm the safe guy. It's like that's unhealthy. To try to make yourself come off as safe is very unhealthy. So how do you kind of navigate? Like you have like you're sick something, it's like, so is there some sense of I forgot who said it, but like I'm not here to make you comfortable. And I think there's something about that as well, whereas like at some point you can't be so concerned with making other people comfortable, especially as a Black person, because leads to unhealthiness. So how have
Uh-huh.
you kind of found your grounding where it's like, I'm gonna be in these spaces and there's gonna be people that are uncomfortable just because of my size, just because of the
Right,
color of my skin. How you
right.
navigate those kind of spaces?
So, Sebastian, it's an interesting question. So, I'm almost 6'6". I'm
Mhm,
290, 295 now. I've got double tattoo sleeves. I work out every single day, 6 days a week. I take care of myself in the gym physically, and I'm not a small person. Now, I'm not going to go out of my way to be super nice all the time, and kind of just and sit there and be like this rosy, happy person all the time. This is not the Wizard of Oz.
mhm,
But I'm also not going to come into a room frowning, upset, muscles tensed up, trying to scare people in that regard either. So
mhm,
I'm just myself. Like I'm very easygoing. I talk to people. I'm very gregarious. I try to have a smile on my face if I'm having a bad day, and I still try to push through it anyway. And
mhm,
I'm just very inviting. And with my work as a speaker, I learned that in order to really get the attention of event planners, you just need to be yourself, but just
mhm,
come across like very just in it. And that's the word. Like just open it. Like you seem like you can be talked to and approached. You don't have to come off and just start talking to everybody and try to make everybody feel comfortable, but just look like you're approachable. So
mhm,
since I really got that into my mindset, it's been very effective. Like I'm very confident who I am. I don't slouch down. I don't try to hide my tattoos. I don't try to do any of that stuff. I'm just very much who I am. I'm in my space. And if you have a question to ask me, I'll answer it. I'm a good person. I'll talk to you. But at the same time, I'm not going to go out of my way just to be super, positive guy. We're kind of like, well, like, why is this guy coming across like he's trying so hard to make me feel comfortable, it's weirding me out. So that's not going to go. Like I said, that's definitely going to be negative because, like, well, why are you trying so hard? Just be yourself, and that should be enough. So, and my father taught that at a young age. My dad was 6'4". At his heaviest bench, he was 450. So, I mean, he taught us about this being confident, being assured of yourself. My dad used to date very, very attractive, very smaller size women, but my dad just came across as a very nice person. You could talk to him, very intelligent, very witty. And women liked that. They liked the fact he was big and could carry a conversation. It was very affectionate, and people thought my dad was great. So learned a lot from him, Magic, growing up, and who we are today.
Yeah. Now, what so like you brought up tattoos. Like one of the things you mentioned was tattoos got you out of the drinking cycle, the alcoholism. I think that's an interesting take, man. It's like you don't hear that where it's like tattoos were the thing that helped you out of a toxic pattern.
Yep. So when my father passed away, I was 20. I was 25 and a half. And so it was unexpected. He was only 57. So when he died, a large part of me had died with him. And I just became very depressed. I got hooked heavily on, I mean, I drank every time socially, but when I got hooked heavily on brown liquor, Hennessy, Crown, Hypnotic, a mixture, and I get my hands on. And I would just drink and drink and drink. And I would wake up like, man, I woke up. This is not what I want to do. Drink some more, wake up again. I just went through this vicious cycle of just drinking and drinking and drinking and nightlife and drinking some more. Then I woke up one day. I was like, wow, if I don't stop this, then what will happen is my dad's already gone. I'm going to be gone. And I'm 25 and a half, almost 26 years old. And my father's legacy will die with me. And of course, my brother is still here, but a part of my father's legacy will die with him. And I said, I got to make a change. But I wasn't strong enough to get off the bottle totally yet. I was like, I still need something to do. Like, what can I do? Like, I don't have anything to take up my time. Like, my business is okay, but not really my thing. So then I said, oh, wow, okay. I had one tattoo of my dad's nickname. That was my very first tattoo on my right shoulder. I said, okay, I enjoyed that. It honored my father. He was still alive at the time. Let's go do that. So then next thing I know, I went and got another tattoo of my father's name. Then I got another tattoo, smaller. Then next thing you know, I said, well, you know what the hell? I'm going to go through my whole right arm. And I remember I was still drinking a lot, Magic, very honest. I was still drinking a lot. I remember I went to a tattoo parlor that was 30 minutes away from my house. I got home. I went to the parlor. I got home at like 1 a.m, woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, my arm hurts. What's wrong? Went to the mirror. I saw this whole tattoo right here of this whole one right here. And I was like, what the hell is that? When did I get that? Then I called the tattoo shop and said, Marcus, you were just here yesterday. You don't remember this? Like, oh, I don't remember this. Really? Yeah. And I was so drunk, Magic, that I don't remember the tattoo. And then that's when I came and said, wow, if I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to put the bottle down. And so that morning, I stopped drinking to that excessive point. But I love the tattoos. It kept me out of the bottle. And I remember getting this tattoo the day of his passing on my collarbone. And next thing I got my whole back done. So now I have a full back tattoo, chest, both arms. But it encouraged me to let that be my outlet versus the heavy drinking. So after I woke up that morning with my whole right arm tattoo, pretty much, I was like, I don't remember. I said, okay, I love the tattoos. I want to keep going to the parlor, but drinking and doing what I've been doing and driving an hour, 15 minutes round trip, and you don't remember it, that's not going to happen ever again. So at that point, I just drink socially, not drink to get excessively drunk anymore.
Okay. Like, and because I think that's such an important thing because alcoholism is up because of, the pandemic and isolation. Sure. I think, and it's interesting that something that started so like, I just want to get a tattoo ended up being your your pivot on how to get out of alcoholism, what what kind of advice or what you would say if you're struggling with alcoholism right now? And that's why I really like this story that tattoos got you out of alcoholism, because it's like it is such a struggle right now for people.
Uh-huh.
Um, and how would you kind of walk, like, even young adults right now? It's like they're taking care of
Sure.
parents, they're doing everything they can, and they're struggling. Is there any kind of wisdom or what you would share with them?
Yeah. So what I would tell people is you need to really think about what are some things that you enjoy and try to make that the supplement to the drinking. Now, it's not going to be easy because it's like alcohol is something you can get your hands on very easily. If you're an adult, you can go and drink it and people aren't going to tell you no. And like, and you can drink so much that you just don't know your limits sometimes, or you do know your limits sometimes. You go over the limit because you're just like, I want to go there. But
Mhm.
when I found tattoos to be my outlet, it said, okay, it made me realize that I could do something else other than just do it the way of the bottle. And it helped me to kind of focus on trying to create some type of legacy or some sort of, pyramid. Like to me, like my body is a representation of my family. Like literally,
Mhm.
like I've had uncles and aunts and grandparents. Like that's what I have. And so again,
Mhm.
you need to try to find something that you can honor your legacy with and do something positive other than just the defilement of your body through alcoholism and excessive abuse to it. Trust
Mhm.
me, I know what it's like. I know it's hard. I've lived it. I've been there. But there are ways to come through it on the other side as long as you can focus and try to figure out what are some things that you enjoy that you can create a legacy doing something else other than, again, like I said, defiling and putting your body through all that type of nastiness and things of that nature.
Mhm. Mhm. That's a good point. And I love what you said that, because I know when I was at my lowest, like I got a tattoo. Remember, it was like, and remember why you're doing this. Remember why you're putting yourself through this. And
Uh-huh.
it still kind of reminds me of like all the family traumas and everything that's gone down. And it's like that is the work. Nobody's, it's like we don't ask for what's on our plate, but we kind of inherited, like, all right, we can either face this and keep working on it, or we can just go and just kind of turn our head to it.
Right.
um and it's like you still got to find balance and keep it healthy and take care of yourself. But I do believe it, as far as like remember what your people have gone through, or what your family has gone through. And it kind of goes back to like Ahmaud Arbery, where it's like, you can't afford to just go back to simple ways of like, I'm just gonna make people laugh, or I'm just gonna do my thing and make a living. But it's like it has to be, what does it invest in? Something more important, something that's gonna leave a legacy beyond our short time here. Um,
Right.
and it started with that tattoo. Like my tattoo is like, remember why you're doing this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's I think when you embark on something, there is a naiveness to it, because you can't know what you need to know until you do it, until you start doing it, and that's when the rubber meets the road. And it's only the continuing to process and put yourself through it when you start realizing, like, okay, now I'm starting to see what it is that I'm trying to do. And I like that your your process and what you've gone through has kind of helped you and shaped you, as far as like more narrow, more focus on the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would you say? Because you're a speaker, you're a consultant, and now what would you say like your that one purpose is for you?
Magic, my one purpose is to inspire people to take accountability by sharing my story and my experiences so they don't fail like I did on their
Mhm.
journey. That's what it's
Mhm.
about for me because
Mhm.
I've made so many mistakes between getting into a business and construction that I knew nothing about with the wrong business partner, to spending almost $3 million of my money in 90 days without a signed change order because I was young and I trusted people and I was naive, to coming down here to Raleigh and think I could go back into finance and grow this big business, and I hadn't touched it in 10 years. To go into a construction company to work for them without a contract, without any type of protection, worked there for less than a week, 5 days, and was fired from the company. And really and truly, what my work is about is inspiring people to have success. Like I said in my tagline, is to help others succeed where I have failed. And again, my mistakes, I don't begrudge them. Like without them, I just spoke this past Saturday, Magic, to Western Governors University, the largest university online in the country. They have about 125,000 students each year. Average age is 35 years old. And I told them during my keynote, making mistakes is not a bad thing. It builds resilience and resiliency. What is a bad thing, making mistakes, the same one over and over again, or making mistakes and not learning from them. That is a bad thing. So I talked to them about that, but talking to that I was their 2021 commencement graduation speaker. Spoke to about 1,400 graduates, their families, about my story and how they could pivot to have success and how to have an unbreakable mindset as they push forward in their journey. So really and truly, that's what my work is about. Like speaking on stage, consulting, coaching, writing 2 best-selling books. It's all about the people who are reading or seeing or hearing our work, our brand's business, our calling, our message. And then from there can take the action steps, Magic, and put into their own life and have success. That's what it's all about.
It's dope. And then one of your key principles is the success cycle. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Success Cycle, Magic is our second book, and it talks about 3 major facets to help you succeed and get past the funk in life. One is ambition. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What do you want to do? What are some things you have your eyes and your heart set on? If you go through life with no purpose, you're going to go through life aimlessly, hopelessly, not knowing where to go. So you need to define your ambition and create purpose. Number 2 is drive. Be inspired over motivated. Motivation is about external forces and factors that drive you to do something. Money, fame, success, notoriety. You'll eventually burn out if that's all you're about. If you're inspired and you have that ability to have drive, you'll breathe life into other people. And no matter what you do or what you're looking at doing or how hard it is, you'll keep going. 2.5 years, Magic, not one paid speaking job, not one. For 2.5 years, 30 months, I was told no every single time. If I wasn't inspired to be a speaker, Magic, I would have burnt out after 3 months, 4. In my construction company, I had massive success. First 2 years, 3 years. By year 5.5, or at the 5.5 year point, I burnt out. Lost everything, made mistakes, lost my home, lost both my cars. Everything was taken from me in a matter of 90 days. Stripped away from me like you strip off a bed to change the sheets. Lost it all. But what happened is I was motivated by construction. So I made a lot of money, had nice cars, had a nice house. I was making $750,000 a year. I just turned 30, but I wasn't inspired to do it. So I burnt out, and by that 5.5 year mark, Magic, it's all gone. Lost everything. So today, I'm inspired. I will never burn out. Will I be tired? Will I have long days? Will I be exhausted? Oh yeah. But will I ever be like, God, I hate my job. God, what am I doing? What am I thinking? Never. And I know a lot of people, Magic, who just basically hate their life because they hate their job. They hate having to go to work. And what does that do? It brings in the negativity, the funk into the household, causing what? Drama, stress, issues. And the third part of the success cycle, Magic, hard work. Focus on yourself, and not the competition. Don't
Mm.
get caught what I call the social media comparison game. Oh, they're traveling here. Oh, they have this car. Oh, they have that. You have no idea what somebody's life is really like. I'm very real on social media because I want people to know what my life is like. Good days, bad days, hard days, struggles. People like, Marques, what? 2.5 years, not one page? I'm like, yep, two and a
Yeah.
half years, not one. Why didn't you quit? Why did you say? Because I was working other jobs to pay the bills, but I just believed if I could just get the chance, I could help people and help save lives. That's why I kept going. So the success cycle can be utilized in anybody's life. If you have ambition, if you have drive, and you have hard work, Magic, no matter what you face in life, you come out on top.
Well, I think also your the people around you, because that's something that I'm learning myself is I didn't know how important because we don't dig ourselves out of our funk by ourselves. You know, it's like that bootstrap crap. It's like so what I've been learning is like who's your team, like who's around you that kind of allows you to be like, oh, okay, you understand me, to help, like, and I think that's part of it as well. Whereas like, because you also mentioned that the NFL came to you and helped as well, like when you were at your lowest.
Yep, they sure did. They got do you remember Gene Upshaw? He was
Yeah,
yeah. So Gene Upshaw. Now this is what we were talking about, the legacy. Gene Upshaw was the first president of the NFLPA to help the players get better deals, get better treatment. And when he passed away, they created the Gene Upshaw Trust Fund in 2013 to help former players who could prove they had financial hardships and help them pay bills. They don't give you the money, but they pay it to your creditors. When I moved to Raleigh, I had $4 my name, Magic. I was 1 week away from being on the streets. One. My fiance was going to live with her parents, who's now my wife, and I was going to live in a homeless shelter or the street because everyone said, oh, you had a brother, Marques, that's a Hall of Famer, made all this money. So when his problem, my brother was married, kids, I'm not just going to go out there and live with him and like go into his place and like freeload. And that's never my personality. I was going to go on the street first. But the NFL said, Marques, we see enough in you. We'll give you 4 months of sovereignty. 4. We'll pay 4 months of your bills to your creditor, we'll help you get a car so you can get to work, and we'll take care of your light bill and some insurance you and buying or have insurance. 4 months. That's all you got. I worked my butt off. Fired from Merrill Lynch, fired from the construction company. And again, both of them were my fault, Magic. Nobody else but my fault. But without the NFL with that, I would have been in trouble. But during that 4 months, I was fired from those 2 jobs. I worked as a football trainer. I worked as putting on 7-on-7 camps. I was a birthday clown at parties. I would dress up and play football with the kids in my old football jersey, and I would go play football with the kids at birthday parties like a birthday clown. Did all that. And I even took a job as a custodian, making $8.25 an hour, Magic, on the night shift, 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. to support my family. And I was lucky enough to build a little bit of capital, a few bucks, and then that 4 months stopped. And then from there, man, I just kept working. I kept working. I kept doing those jobs. And I started getting more clients for football and training. But I always wanted to be a speaker ever since September 2013, when I had my spoiled milk, you can call it your funk moment. Somebody's trash, rotten meat, banana peels, everything got on my bare skin, my clothes, my body. And that was my funk moment. And I had to come home that day. You asked me, when did you talk about wanting to help people? That I came home that day and I wrote down my 3 biggest strengths and why I wanted to help people as a speaker. And I launched my career. But for 2.5 years, not a paid job. Not one.
Yeah. And now, with that, like, can you share a little bit about your book, Sleepless Nights?
Sure. So Sleepless Nights was my first book. It's my autobiography. It talks about my life after the NFL, business transition coming down here. So that was our first book. And it's been really a good read for a lot of people because it kind of set the stage to tell us about what we've gone through, the highs and lows, etc. Now, the success cycle was kind of after that, was the aftermath of like how we went from, $8.25 an hour custodian to doing a couple things, low-level speaking jobs, kind of get started to where we are today. And our third book, where we're actually looking at working on writing, is going to be called Pivot, where we went from a phenomenal speaker and how we went through the 2020 pandemic and we pivoted, able to kind of get out in front of this horrible, awful pandemic to still be able to do business for people and keep ourselves going the right direction. But Sleepless Nights was our first book. It was a bestseller on Amazon, and it's our autobiography to kind of get people a little bit more about my life, upbringing, kind of when I went through until I moved here up until 2015.
Okay. Nice, man. That's awesome. And now, so what are you working on now? So you're working on the third book.
Yep.
You still have the speaker engagements. What do you have one coming up?
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually have one coming up. My next one is actually today. I have a virtual event today for the Special Olympics Illinois chapter. I'm doing that today, 4:15 to 5:15 Eastern, which I'm very excited about the power to serve people as a coach. So I'm doing that. I've got one on Friday for a company called Lulu Publishing about how to create a better, healthier work environment. And then I'll be on the road again to Orlando in March 9th through 10th. I'm going down to Atlanta for a business meeting on the 18th and 19th. And then after that, it looks like I've got to might be going out to Vegas again for a big client out there and a big mastermind in Vegas.
Dope. And so where can people find your speaking engagements and your book at?
Great. They can go to our website, which is www.marques, MARQUES, Ogden, OGDEN.com. And also, we were trying to get into more magic is getting into more online courses. And we have a subscription model you can get access to on our website about how to create your own success on our website, on the Marques Ogden website. We also just launched today with NFL Brotherhood, a group out of London. It's called the Pivot Strategy. It's kind of like a Netflix model. You pay $7.95 a month, or you can pay $89 for the year to have access to content around different topics. And our topic we created was Pivot, to help people transition out of a tough time. And here's the thing too, man, people pay me right now, Magic. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I get a lot of money on stage, right? I get, I'm getting between, I don't know, 10 to 30 grand for an hour on stage at times. I'll get $5 grand for a virtual event, right? People pay me a lot of money for my coaching.
I'm sorry. Hey, I want to give you props, man. One of the homies was watching because I don't see the comments. I just saw the comments, and one of the homies just said, "Preach, man," because he gets tattoos as well, and that's kind of what helped him through his hard times. Shout out to Danny, love you, man. Yeah.
Hey, brother. Hey, man, I tell you what, nobody can take it away from you. He's right, man. Like, my family is my legacy. Like, that's why I do this. I push through. And like Danny said, when you have them, it's what you can say is your story. So like now, what I did with this other program, man, with Pivot, right, Magic, I made it where people who can't afford my high-ticket coaching one-on-one or hiring on stage, they can pay $7.95 a month to have access to learn how to pivot. It's a 10-chapter, very well laid out video course to help you in your life move the needle. That's what it was designed to do.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Because I think that's where a lot of us struggle, even myself, where it's like, how do you're doing all the work, but how do you actually move the needle with your work? Where it's like, and I think a lot of that is help to focus. And that's why I brought up the people around you, as well as the success principles that you shared. But man, I'm so happy. We have about a few minutes left, but I do want to say thank you so much. And to the people that were Stacy who commented in, thank you. I'm glad you're listening. Thank you for the comment. Danny, Sir Bailey, Jerlene, thank you all for listening in. And we couldn't be more happy to have you, Marques. I will also be talking to you because I need some coaching myself. So yeah. So enjoy the wisdom you shared today, man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
man, hit me up, man. I mean, like I said, hit me up. You got my, just hit me up on direct message or on LinkedIn. Matter of fact, I'll just text you my cell on direct
Mm,
messages. You can have it. But yeah, man, hit me up because again, in life, if you can't pivot, magic, you're never gonna rise to the next level. It's just not possible because life is designed to be hard and tough. But if we can pivot and stay ahead of it, we can always come out on top.
mm. Appreciate you being here. Thank you,
All right,
Marques.
man. Thanks for having me on, man. Talk to you soon, Magic.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you all for listening. That was Fight the Funk podcast, exploring mental health, culture, and the world around us. I hope you found that enlightening. Hope that can help you with your own journey. And I know there's people struggling out there with so much right now. And thank you for listening. Love you, Danny. And I'm glad you found that helpful, man. So with that, I just want to say, be well out there, man. Take care of yourself. If you're struggling, use some resources, make some calls, reach out to your people, and love to the family of Amal Aubrey. Yesterday was the anniversary. Rest in that eternal light, man, and we will continue to do the work. And for us all, be well, everybody. Deuces.